scene study class, and everybody is working with a partner on a particular scene, and we work on it for the full 5 weeks. And what's so great about this is that we really work on making the characters as real as possible, really digging into the meat of the script and all of the clues that the script holds to who the character really is. And then learning enough about them that every student can think as their character, to really be somebody else as they're acting, because that's the magic of acting, is to actually become the character through being in their mind rather than in your own mind. If you've never taken an acting class, it's so valuable, and it'll start to make you actually feel, I am an actor. You can stop saying, I would like to be an actor, but you can say, I am an actor. And that's what I want to do for everybody that's dreaming of doing that. And if you are an actor and you're auditioning regularly and you're just not booking as much as you should, I promise you this will make a lot of difference. So whether you're a beginner or you feel like you're fairly advanced, but you want to be better, it's really a great place for you all to be. And this is really the class that gives you everything that you need for auditioning in the future. You need to be able to do scenes on self-tapes, and just pretty much Zoom class is the way to do that, because you don't really get to work on camera in a in-person class. Exactly what we do here is exactly what you're going to have to do on your own with a reader with your self-tapes. However, you're going to have to do it practically overnight. Most auditions, they give you the night before. We spend 5 weeks really digging into character, really making our characters responsive, making our words come alive, so that you know how to do that when you have to do it instantaneously. It's so, so important to get these skills. I've been talking to the guest stars on my show and asking them, how did they get that? I said, so how'd you get this part? They said, on a self-tape. And I said, did you come in for a callback? They said there was no callback. They just booked me on one self-tape. Okay. So do you know how good your self-tape has to be? Okay. It has to be the best that they've seen for that character. And that's how you get the role. So, making sure that you get that. Starting next month, we're going to be doing an audition class where I throw a new script at you every single week. However, you can't really do that class until you've done this class, because this is what gives you the information about what to do in that fast period of time. You can't just wing it. You have to know exactly what you need to do so that you can do it quickly. We're going to start with my assistant, Jonathan. Jonathan's been with me from the very beginning, because he's the one that came up to me and said, you really should be teaching Zoom class. Jonathan, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I am originally from a medium small town in Wisconsin. Recently moved out to LA to further this career and chase these goals and these dreams. Once the pandemic hit, I decided to take it a little more seriously. I found Winnie, suggested doing these online classes, and we've been working together. I've noticed a huge difference from going solo and just relying on what I thought I knew to actually getting the help and getting someone that could mentor me and work with me one-on-one. And then also in these class settings was a huge change. And yes, those lessons and those videos are a gift. They are out there. They are full of information. Don't read them just to read them to learn, which means you can read them more than once. You never know what's going to land the first time you read it, what's going to land the second time you read it. So you can constantly go back to the well and find more knowledge and information.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason. Aside from, a workshop at a local community theater, I've had no acting experience up until now. I started reading through the posts that Winnie has on our acting class, and I first read through them, not really doing anything, just reading through them, and then I decided, okay, let me start commenting and getting involved. I did that and reached out to Winnie and said, hey, do you think I can take your next class? Am I ready for it? She thought it'd be a good idea, so here I am, and it's I mean, it's been fun as can be. Aside from even what I'm learning, it has just been a blast to take the class. This little community here is great to work with. Everybody's learning, everybody's helping each other out to figure stuff out. We're all watching each other, learning from it. It's been wonderful. And Winnie's been a great teacher for her. She's, I won't lie, I sometimes leave here with a bit of a headache because there's just so much to take in, especially in the first time. But it's so good because it's learning every single time, new stuff to apply to the next time that I just practice my lines or go through the scene. And I mean, sometimes things just make such a great click to them. She'll describe something in the way I'm like, oh yeah, now that makes sense. Probably wouldn't be able to have that if I was just reading through the material on its own. But I was amazed as it was just posting stuff on a free thing on Reddit and having Winnie just responding like right away. It's been an amazing thing. It's been a lot of fun.
You're really showing a lot of promise with your first class, and I'm really excited with what you've accomplished so far. It really is so important that you actually put all the information that you learn from reading and watching videos. You got to do it yourself. You can't really learn to swim by watching other people swim in a pool. You've actually got to jump into the pool and start trying to paddle around. And when you start to, at first you may be dog paddling and you're kind of, doing this, but gradually you start to get those strokes down and you start to look like a real actor. And you are, Jason. So I'm really excited about the future for you.
I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm also currently a college student. I've been with Winnie for about, I think, a year. I started off in the acting class Reddit, actually during the pandemic, like most people. And then I took a bit of a break because college got in the way, life got in the way. But I'm back and I wanted to do this class so I have a weekly commitment to acting and to working with a scene partner. I didn't really have a lot of previous experiences except for like casually acting in high school, but joining the class, I've learned a lot about how to be a character, about learning how to think the character's thoughts and not be thinking about the actor's tactics, and also that acting doesn't end when you stop talking. You have to keep acting while your scene partner is talking because it's not just a line, it's the character's thoughts being said out loud. That was one of the biggest things that I learned here. And joining the scene study class for the second time, it allows you to work with someone in real time in a way that doing the monologue isn't going to get you someone else's reactions, someone else having to bounce off their energy, having to have that tennis match with somebody else. And also you get to see your other actors and watch their scenes and watch what they're doing with their characters and be able to learn from that and incorporate that, even though it's not your scene. I've learned so much about acting from Winnie and from being in the scene study class and being in the Reddit. I would say most of, if not all of what I know about being an actor came from Winnie, and I'm so grateful for that.
I have been with Winnie for some time now. This is my 4th scene study class, actually. And I honestly kind of feel like it's finally getting to the turning point. I feel like now, after being in scene study class a few times, I feel like more and more like, okay, I feel like I'm actually becoming an actor and not just thinking, oh, I would like to learn acting and be good at acting. I feel like the scene study class is just so important because you're just utilizing like every single thing that Winnie has taught and that we've learned. And I just feel like it's super helpful to understand the process of, acting in general, and then just working with a partner too, that just like takes it to the next level. And that really helps you, react to what they're saying, to think about what they're saying too, because that's one thing that I had no idea how to do when I first started, continuously thinking and then responding to them without actually talking. So that's kind of like the big thing for me that I feel like I'm finally improving on after being in class.
That I say you can't do your scene as though you've got your scene partner on the other side of a freeway, and then a Mack truck goes by, and then a bus goes by, and then a couple of cars, and then you say your next line. No, it's a tennis game. You can't play tennis game across the freeway from each other. You need to keep it connected. That doesn't mean you're going fast. It means that one thought goes to the next, to the next, to the next, and it's all connected together. And that makes you stay your character all the time. And that's really, really important.
I've been with Winnie for, I think it's 6 months, 7 months now. So it's like 6 or 7 classes at this point. So almost a year. Don't have much acting experience, only like school stuff in high school and college. But for the most part, I work as a software engineer, staying at the computer, being very logical. Getting into this class was a great way for me to get out of my shell and to also start to meet people, especially during COVID. I work from home also, so it makes it spend a lot of time by yourself, and having a group of people that are also so open and kind helps really help with the social bit of being a person. Then also just everything that we're learning has me growing myself as a human being, just being more comfortable in my own skin.
And he's come such a long way, because when he first started, I mean, I could totally tell that you feel socially more comfortable with people just in the way you talk in this introduction. He was a little bit of a deer in the headlights in the beginning, right? And just getting the words out was a huge accomplishment, and we tried to give you as much encouragement as we possibly could just for that. And then he's gotten so much stronger and has really become a great scene partner as well. So I'm really proud of your progress, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Becca from the Philippines, and I've been with Winnie, well, in the sub since October 2021. And it's a gold mine, that sub. It's amazing. I learned so much about acting from Winnie's subreddit compared to how my first acting gig. I have no idea how you should be acting at all. Like, I tried asking my actors who are more experienced than I am, and they just say, oh, you should just do this, oh, you should do that. And that's not very helpful for me, because I don't know how you do that exactly. They just present it to me as if I can do it naturally. And it's nice being proven wrong, that acting is a skill and not something inherently right off the bat. You really have to develop it and something to work on, because I love puzzles, and acting is a never-ending puzzle to me. Like, asking a lot of questions and figuring out how to thread all of those questions from the script that fits my objectives, and then figure out the tactics and the subtext and so on. Like, basically trimming the overgrown bushes in the garden just to get the best performance I can get.
Oh, I love that, Becca. That is so true. You do really need to ask yourself why, as your character, you ask, why am I saying this? Why did I word it this way? Why am I upset, or why am I so relaxed, or whatever, because the words will tell you so much. I mean, just looking at the words are your ammunition for getting what you want as a character. It's all we really have is the words. When we're given a script or some sides, all you got is the words. So you've got to figure out what they mean so you can do them as your character. You can say them as your character, and you can think when the other person's talking as your character. And everything that you said there was so right on, really good. You are such a student. You are such an incredible student in that you want to do the most you can possibly do. And so you have to actually tell yourself, let's not do so much now, Becca. Let's do just a little bit less and see if we can deal with it on that level, on a little bit different level. And I think that's fantastic. Good job.
Hello, I'm Joanna. So this is my third class with Winnie, and it's been amazing. I've learned so much. I've explored different characters, I think. I mean, I was a nun last time. This time I'm a 50s housewife, so pretty interesting. And for the lessons that I'm really trying to learn the most about, and what this character really offered me, is an opportunity to really dig into the emotions. It's a very emotional scene, and it deserves authenticity. And so you really have to feel it, but the feelings it involves is very intense. And it's just not being afraid of like what that could look like.
You can't even think about what it looks like. That's not your
Right.
job. Your
Exactly.
job is to be looking through the eyes of your character and be thinking with the mind of your character. And they are not thinking about what they look like as an actor, are they?
No,
You know,
'cause
so
it has to be real. So
it has to be real. That's the first rule of acting. You've got to be real as your character. Now that's pretty obvious, but how do you do that? You know, you do that by thinking your character's thoughts 100% of the time, whether they're talking or whether they're just listening. It's all about the thinking.
it's been a cool scene, trying to do all of the technical things like what's my subtext, what's this and that, and then being able to just let that go and trust it's in there, it's going to do its job, and then just to feel.
Yes, yes, just to let your character loose to do what they need to do. I mean, her character needs to do to her husband to try to get him to be what she wants him to be. And he's giving her a lot of opposition. And so she needs to combat that. She needs to say and do what she needs to do to try to change him. Whether she's successful or not, she's really trying to do that. So, you know, you do feel as an actor, but what you mostly need to really think about is how do you want to make the other person feel?
Right.
And you need to be on the job, you know, and the job is to change that other character.
Yeah.
So, and you always do that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Joanna.
I'm Greg. I'm from New Jersey. I've been studying with Winnie. I started last year. This is like my 5th class. What did I learn? Just to use a music analogy, because I've dabbled in guitar, there are several different ways you could play the different notes, because like each note is on each string, even like multiple parts of the strings. It just depends on which fret you touch. But some notes make it easier to play the rest of the notes. So just because you have few ways you could play something and approach it from a character perspective, there's some approaches that work better with the scene.
Absolutely. So you've got to understand that there's a lots of different ways something can be done, but depending on who your character is and what they need and what they want, they need to go from their perspective. They need to play their music in their key, and to find the way that you do it from beginning to end so that it's seamless, so that you're not suddenly one person and then you're another person. That you are the same person all the way through, trying to get what you want from that other person. And that was really very well put, Greg.
Oh, I'm Teresa. I started like acting with Winnie in her Reddit classes about, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. I worked on a monologue and did a class. And then life just like got busy. I did like school and work for a couple of years, and now I'm back. This is my very first class that I'm like getting back into it, and I'm just like excited to like get the ball rolling again, and I hope I can keep it going.
I hope so too, because she showed a lot of promise just by posting the monologue like I have on Reddit now, where you post your written work and then you post your monologue and I give written feedback. And anybody can do that. You just have to join with a very nominal fee, the Patreon that I have.
I'm Albert. I've been taking classes with Winnie for almost 2 years now, I want to say. The thing that I worked on the most this time was comedy. So comedy was actually not something that I was familiar with at all. Just growing up, because like there was a cultural difference between like my upbringing and then like what most people had. So to me, the scene that we were doing was very, very new, like trying to understand the characters, what's going on, and how it really works. Because when you You know, like everyone else was saying before, Winnie just makes it so easy to understand what's going on. And like if you go and try to figure out comedy, it's this very esoteric, cryptic art where it's just like they basically end up saying, you get it if you get it, you don't if you don't, you know? And being in class with Winnie is like all that information that it would have taken me so long to get. I've gotten in the course of 5 weeks, and it's just, it makes sense now. It makes sense, like what goes on in the scene, how the characters are thinking, how they're reacting, and how it all comes together. And having that magical element called comedic timing, which just ties it all together. It's a nice little bow on it. It's just something that, you know, I wouldn't have gotten, I would say, anywhere else.
You know, a comedy is tricky because first and foremost, you have to get the jokes. You have to understand what's funny about this. And that's not always so easy because, you know, humor can be very dry and, you know, it's very much according to your character's perspective, and how they see the world is what makes it funny. And a lot of times in comedies where people get to know the characters very well, it's just the fact that this particular character is saying this that makes it funny. So that's really one of the things that you have to, you know, latch on to as you're preparing a comic piece, is to really create this character who is funny, you know, just by being who they are, you know, and then getting all the jokes and being able to say them in that tennis game back and forth, you know, just spontaneously coming out of you in a stream of consciousness, which I can't wait to see you guys, because I know we were getting really close to it last week. So I'm hoping we really nail it this time.
My name is Ayrton. I'm from Brazil, as Winnie said. I have taken like classes with like some theater acting teachers, and it seemed like so hard to understand what they were trying to say. Like, they give you like these instructions, like these, you know, directions, and you're left wondering, what am I actually supposed to do? Like, I can't really do anything with what you're saying to me. But with Winnie, like, it's very straightforward. And if it doesn't click to you, she's gonna find like new ways of making it click to you. It's as if she's teaching us a language, like the acting language in a proper way. And even if you end up at some point like working with a terrible teacher, like, you will kind of understand what they were trying to say. You can't translate their, you know, their language, and you're gonna work with like bad directors at some point, and it's the same thing where they don't really understand acting. So once you understand the language, the acting language with Winnie, you're pretty much able to like communicate with everyone. It doesn't matter like how much they know acting. So I feel like it's very important to be able to speak this, you know, fluently as much as you can. And Winnie actually gives you all of the tools you need to learn it. So yeah, I think you should just join. Like, it's you can't miss out on this great opportunity.
This is the only acting class that I've been in. Like, I started 2 years ago, and it was a godsend, you know, because of COVID. And also I was really anxious about the thought of even taking an in-person class. It's been life-changing for me, you know, to find this purpose and to have Winnie as such a caring teacher who really knows what she's doing. And it's been a great journey in our class and with our community too, like making all these friends. And
I've been in Winnie's class for about close to a year almost now. Just watching like the videos from my first class, I can really see how much that I've improved, especially in reactions specifically. I find Winnie's helped me so much with that and understanding how to react and connect with my scene partner properly and really think the thoughts and understand what's happening in the scene. I find always every time in the first week when I get the scene, I think I know what's happening in the scene. And then right away, when he points out so many things to me that I can work on and things that I can kind of go so much deeper into than I thought. So yeah, she's such a great teacher, and anyone who wants to try the class, I highly suggest it. You will definitely improve your skills.
But I've taken lots of acting classes before in the past, but Winnie's classes, obviously, since I've been taking it for 2 years, have made the biggest change in my acting. She gives you like real tools to actually know, like, how do I analyze my character and tactics and thoughts and stuff, and like, you know, lists of things that you can physically do to get better instead of just, like feel like your character, or like, the very like flowery language that other acting teachers will give that don't have like concrete advice. But what I found in Winnie's class is that she tells you, straight up, like what exactly you can physically do to get better. And that's what I love so much about her acting classes, is that it doesn't feel like a puzzle that I have to figure out what she's trying to mean. So you just get like super concrete advice. And like, if you don't understand, she's really good at explaining it in a different way until you do understand what she means. But yeah, I'd say coming to class every week is just like, I mean, we all use this metaphor all the time. It's like going to the gym, because, you gotta keep up with your acting muscles. And, some days it's like leg day, some days it's abs, depending on the kind of scene you're doing. And it's like, oh, I haven't done my abs for a while, so yeah, I forgot these couple of like pointers, and it just makes it stronger every time you do that kind of character or scene the next time. And even with like auditions, it's like the more practice you have getting a scene on its feet and doing written work, the faster you are at like getting your audition on its feet, and like the turnaround for that.
This is my first experience with acting, basically this past couple of months. So I've learned a lot. And I honestly was very timid, or intimidated by entering this new sort of genre of like performance arts, because I've never done anything like it. And she made it easy to lead into it and explore it. And she really goes down in depth. And I was very worried that everybody was going to be like way better than me. And like, I just had a lot of like, inside thoughts like that. But she helped me open up and like, it's okay to be a beginner at all this. If you're a new person, she makes it very easy to open up and learn the thoughts and get inside the character's mind. So yeah, thank you so much, Winnie. And you guys honestly should take the class. It honestly changes your perspective of like acting completely. One thing to say, I'll say that I had a lot of anxiety through like at work, like communicate that well. But I basically learned how to like understand other people. I can see their side better. I can empathize better. I was very kind of broken mindseted. Like I wasn't like in contact with people for a long time. So this also helped me with like social anxiety and stuff. So I'm very glad about that. I'm even being offered like manager roles, but yeah, I'm glad to have done this. It helped me a lot. So honestly, I owe it up to Winnie and acting completely. So I would never stop acting, to be honest. So it helped me out so much. So
like, I wanted to say that like I feel like exactly the things that you're going through. Before I started my first scene study class, like I was really nervous and really scared about like getting into class and just thinking like, wow, these people are so good, like I am gonna suck and like be really bad. And I don't know, I just had a lot of anxiety about it because I also struggle with like social anxiety and stuff too. And that's kind of like a big reason why I wanted to get into acting, to hopefully improve not only acting skills, but people skills, communication skills, all that stuff. And after doing it a few times, like I'm definitely just feeling so much more confident in myself as a person, as well as acting, obviously. So I just wanted to say, like, it's just really nice that, you took that first step getting in class, and hopefully you start to feel more comfortable, with everything.
Yeah, I think everybody should take acting, even if you don't want to be an actor. I mean, I'm always here to make this a real thing. It's not like a hobby. I'm not thinking that anybody here is thinking of doing this as a hobby. I'm trying to prepare you for an actual professional acting career. Now, whatever you want to do with that is fine with me, right? But everybody acts. And if you're doing well in life, you have to be a good actor, right? Because life is acting. We all play different roles. We all have to have exchanges and communication with other people. And just being in acting class will help you with all of that. Will just help you be more comfortable as a human being.
Sing it with me.